Invasive strep infections are currently on the rise.
Plus, new research proposes a possible cause of food allergies. And here's a question: do you eat your meals too fast? Joining us this morning is Dr. Nate Wood, Yale Medicine internist, lifestyle and obesity medicine physician, and director of culinary medicine at Yale School of Medicine. Nice to see you.
Good to see you. Thanks for having me.
Of course. Let's start with the invasive strep infections that have doubled in the United States. This is concerning.
Yeah, kind of alarming, right? So most people don't know what invasive strep is, but we all know what strep throat is, right? There's a specific type of bacteria called group A streptococcus. It infects our throat, causes pain and swelling, not fun for those of us who've had it. But this same bacteria can then crawl into our lungs or even our bloodstream and spread throughout the body, cause things like sepsis, even death. It can be very scary, right? And the reason we're talking about this, as you said, is rates have really been increasing over the past decade. Researchers aren't totally sure why, but we think it might be connected to increasing rates of things like obesity, type 2 diabetes, and homelessness, actually all of which are risk factors for invasive strep. So for those of us, sitting at home, wash your hands. If you get a fever, go to the doctor, and we should be okay.
All right. Doctor, new research has found a potential link between skin damage and developing a food allergy. What can you tell us about this?
Yeah, what an interesting combination, right? How could damage to the skin potentially trigger a food allergy? So some researchers at Yale recently looked at this in the lab, and just imagine this. You get kind of a cut or some kind of damage to your skin. Your immune system immediately gets activated, kind of like a detective, to say what went wrong and how can we fix this, right? So it goes to the skin, it finds the damage, it starts to fix it, but it's also kind of searching throughout the body. And when it gets to your gut, it finds this new food that it's never seen before. Perhaps you tried something new that day, and it says, okay, this is the problem. This is the problem. It recognizes what that food looks like, and it starts attacking it. And that is a food allergy. So again, the first time this has been shown, and a lot more work to do, but curious to see what the researchers come up with in the future.
Yeah, still very interesting. And speaking of food, you hear a lot about mindful eating. Let's talk about what mindful eating is, and how do we really know if we're eating too quickly?
Chances are we're eating too quickly. We were talking about this on the break. We're all guilty of this. I'm certainly guilty of this. The magic number is 20. So if you feel like you're eating a meal in less than 20 minutes, you're probably eating too quickly. That's because that's how long it takes the brain to kind of catch up with all the signals in the body to say, okay, let's slow down. We've been eating long enough. So how this plays out is, imagine you eat a meal in 5 minutes. You're probably going to still be wanting to eat for another 15 minutes or so. But if you take that same meal and you eat it over 20 minutes, the same amount of food, you're much more likely to feel full. So this can be important for kind of preventing us from overeating, right? And one of the best ways to do this is to get rid of the distractions. Put down the work, put down the phone, turn off the TV, right? And this shows that you can really focus on your food and appreciate it more. And as a bonus, the research says you'll really enjoy eating the food more too. So that's mindful eating.
Doctor, I was going to say, how practical is a 20-minute meal for most of us here in 2025?
I know.
It's tough. It's tough.
All right. Well, as always, Dr. Wood, we appreciate your time.